Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren Henderson, Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator for the Capital Region PRISM. My section, I'm going to go over some background of water chestnut and some identification features, and also some things we need to know when we go about doing water chestnut removal. So I'm guessing most of you on this call have some idea what water chestnut is already. It's a pretty common invasive in the capital region, at least. I know there's still some prisms that it's not very widespread in, but in our region, the capital region, it is pretty widespread. So this species is originally from Western Europe, Africa, and Northeast Asia, not originally in the United States, but it was first introduced into the United States in the mid-1800s, and it's believed that it was introduced as an ornamental plant. One of the first instances recorded of water chestnut was from the Cambridge Botanical Gardens at Harvard University. That was around 1877. It's believed that from there, the plant escaped cultivation, and it was found in a few different places throughout New England after that within just a few years. And one place that hits kind of close to home for us in the capital region is Collins Lake, which you can see on the map that I have below. Collins Lake is in Schenectady County, and that was first discovered in 1884. So not long after that first recorded discovery at Harvard University in the Botanical Gardens. So with water chestnut, this is a very high threat species. It forms dense mats on the water's surface, and it's going to obstruct light from penetrating the water. This can cause potential fish kills with reduced dissolved oxygen. It also reduces native plant growth. It's blocking any type of light from getting down to the sediment, allowing other things to grow. It's going to inhibit recreation. I've been out doing surveys and I've seen water chestnut where it looked like I could walk across it. I've read stories of water chestnut growing as thick as 1 foot deep off of the surface of the water or above the surface of the water. So it's a very high threat species because of all these impacts that it can cause. And also, it has the little seeds that can cause issues, people stepping on those, not always great stuff. So Mitch, you can go to the next slide. So for identification, this is an annual floating rooted aquatic plant. It's only going to be able to grow if there is that seed available for it from a previous year. Most people are able to identify water chestnut pretty easily. I have some interns and they said the first time they saw it, they'll probably never forget what it looks like. So, but if you are struggling with it, you're going to look for the triangular leaves, which you can see in the top left image. They should be floating on the surface. They're going to have a glossy green appearance, and they form a rosette as they grow off the stem. So it almost looks like kind of a bouquet of flowers when you hold it out of the water. You're going to look for a margin on the leaves that's toothed. It's not going to be just a smooth edge of the leaf. You can kind of see it in both of the top 2 pictures there. And you're also going to look for the petioles that are present right below the leaves. You can kind of see it in that top left picture. Those will help the actual plant float on top of the water. Don't have a good picture available for the stem, but the stem is going to be submerged below the water's surface, and it is rooted into the sediment. There are multiple roots that produce off of the stem and anchor into the sediment, and they have kind of a feathery appearance. If you've ever seen Eurasian water milfoil, it almost has a similar appearance to the leaflets on Eurasian water milfoil. I know sometimes when I'm moving quickly, doing a water chestnut pull, sometimes I'll almost second guess if I saw Eurasian water milfoil wrapped in there, but it does have that feathery appearance when you pull the roots out. And then another way to help identify water chestnut is the flower. The top right picture there is a picture of a water chestnut flower. It is a 4-petaled white flower that usually blooms between June and July. I was just out last week and I just saw a few of the flowers starting to emerge. So I would say in the next few days or week, we might start seeing some of the flowers blooming on water chestnut. And then lastly, we have the fruit. This is what a lot of people recognize. You know, we run the boat steward program, and when we ask people about different types of species and we say water chestnut, they always recognize the fruit of water chestnut. They see them floating around in water or washed up on the shore. So water chestnut produces this hard nut-like fruit that has 4 sharp spines, and each fruit contains a single seed. These are produced and they grow below the rosette with all the leaves, and each rosette can produce up to 20 seeds, or I'm sorry, nuts. And like Steve had said earlier, these can be viable in the sediment for up to 12 years. Once they are out of the water and dried up, they usually are no longer viable. So in the picture here, I don't believe those would be viable at this point. You can go to the next slide, Mitch. So one thing to just note is we have this other version of water chestnut that is Trapa bispinosa. I believe I said that right, hopefully. So this species is only known to be in Virginia at this point in the United States. So probably not going to see it in this area, but it's always good to know about it just in case, you know, it is on the move at this point. So some of the distinguishing features for this species is the leaves are going to have a red underside, unlike the water chestnut that we have in this area that is just going to all be green. Instead of a white flower, we're going to see pink petals on the flower. And with the fruit, instead of those 4 spines, this species is only going to have 2 spines. Since it is only in Virginia, there's not a huge amount of research available on the impacts of this species, but it's believed to be very similar to the water chestnut that we have here, with kind of creating those dense mats and causing issues with recreation and light penetrating into the water.